Welcome back to Genk kart circuit in Belgium as we continue our coverage of the Rotax Euro Challenge. Before the break we had some great action in the pre-final, and now it's time for the final of the DD2 gearbox category. Those results determine the grid for the main event, and so on pole it's Belgium's Zenderu in kart 607, driving for Formula K Europe. Second, another Belgium, number 603, Jules Zimkowiak for G-Star Raw Racing. Third will be kart 649, Finland's Mika Laiho for MPT Racing. And then it's Swiss driver Kevin Ludi, starting fourth in kart 607 for Spirit Racing. Fifth is 624, the DFK Racing kart of Harold Garkaklis from Latvia. And completing the third row of the grid in sixth place is kart 602, Belgium's Matthias de Tige for Bouvan Power Team. So they set off onto the warm-up lap. These are all 125cc karts using the Rotax Max DD2 engine and featuring a 2-speed box, which the drivers operate via a paddle shift on the steering wheel. In the Masters class for drivers aged 32 and above, the best qualifier is number 646, Dennis Kroos, the Belgium's 16th for Team Kroos. This is actually their second start after a big crash brought out the red flags on the original attempt. Away we go then. Pole sitter Zenderu leads the charge to turn one, and there's already contact. Harold Garkaklis spins from fifth on the grid, but it's Zenderu in the lead. Jules Zimkowiak is second, and Kevin Ludi has picked up a place in third. Mika Laiho was briefly up to second, but the Finn was quickly bumped back to fourth. A replay of the start, and Garkaklis got a shove from the 627 car to Fred Alexar from Estonia, sending him into a spin. Back with the leaders, and it's still the two Belgians who lead. Deroux just ahead of Zimkowiak. But here's a challenge. Zimkowiak down the inside. They run wheel to wheel and they collide. They spear across the track, just about get missed by the pack, and they're both out. Here's a replay. Zimkowiak goes for the inside, runs into the leader, climbs all over him in fact, as neither driver prepared to give way, and inevitably they take each other out. So from third to first goes Switzerland's Kevin Ludi. Finland's Mika Laiho is up to second, and the Estonian Fred Alexar is right behind them in third. The top three just beginning to break away. And there's another spin from the midfield. That's 625, Igor Mulkin, and he gets clattered as he tries to rejoin. And the replay reveals that Mulkin was taken out by fellow Masters competitor Carl Clairbeau in the 648 kart. So at the end of a rather dramatic opening lap, it's Kevin Ludi who leads for Spirit Racing, but shadowing his every move, you've got Mika Laiho for MPT Racing and Fred Alexar for the G-Star Raw Racing team. Nothing between them. And they're headed for the corner where the two leaders took each other out on lap one, and now Laiho tries his luck, dives inside Ludi and moves into first place. Now that is how it's supposed to be done. A clean pass from the Finnish driver. So Laiho leads, Ludi down to second with Alexar third, and then starting to join the back of that lead group, you've got 602, Belgium's Matthias de Tige. Fifth is number 643, Tom Delissen for CRG Holland. Sixth is kart 651, that's Maxime Greville, the French driver representing the Kart Pro race team. And seventh is Thomas Smith from Denmark. He's on board the number 618 Star Karting entry. That means the top 7 positions are filled by drivers from 7 different countries here at the Rotax Max Euro Challenge. As ever, the Genk circuit already providing us with plenty of entertainment. And now we've got 5 karts running absolutely nose to tail in this lead battle at the beginning of lap 3. And here's a change for second place. Fred Alexar gets alongside Kevin Ludi, and Matthias de Tige is going to try and follow him through as well. And here comes the 643 kart of Tom Delissen. He's going to get past them both and charge from 5th to 3rd. So the pack is reshuffled. Mika Laiho still leads, but with Fred Alexar now second. We just saw Tom Delissen rocket up to third. Matthias de Tige gained a place, then lost a place, so he's still fourth. And at the back of that lead group now, Kevin Ludi has slipped from second to fifth. Drivers overtaking one another at every given opportunity. And poor old Kevin is about to lose another place. Through comes the 651 kart of Maxime Greville to demote the Swiss driver down to 6th place now. But luck is fighting back. He retakes 5th place, and that's Thomas Smith pouncing in kart 618 to put Maxime Greville straight back down to 7th position. Here's Tom Delissen with a move on Fred Alexar to take 2nd place. The Dutch driver in kart 643 has now progressed from 5th to 2nd in less than a lap. All of this infighting allowing the race leader to further stretch his advantage. 2nd, 3rd and 4th still tied together, and Thomas Smith has just moved ahead of Kevin Ludi to claim 5th position. The order then is Mika Laiho from Tom Delissen, Fred Alexar is 3rd, Matthias de Tige is 4th, And here's that battle for 5th place. Kevin Ludi gets a good run out of the final corner. He draws alongside and regains the position from Thomas Smith, under braking into turn 1. A good move that from the Swiss driver, Ludi having to battle really hard out there. Remember, he led the race at the end of lap 1, following that collision between the two front row men, Zenderu and Jules Sinkoviak, who are now both well down the order after spinning each other out. Ludi bogging down out of some of the corners, and this might allow Smith to get back ahead of him. He's done it. The Danish driver back up to 5th for Star Karting. The 651 kart of Maxime Gravy is still hot on their heels in 7th, and at the back of this group, the 604 kart of Britain's Patrick Pearce in 8th place. And here comes Gravy up the inside, and that puts the Frenchman up to 6th and Ludi down to 7th now. There's your race leader, the MPT racing kart of Mika Leijo. The Finn is now just over a second clear of the Dutch driver Tom Dearlison. Matthijs de Tiege and Fred Alexar have now switched places in 3rd and 4th, and de Tiege in the number 627 kart is now starting to put the pressure onto Dearlison. So this is the battle for 2nd place. Head down for Dearlison as he tries to improve his aerodynamics down the straight. De Tiege hanging on to him, but not close enough to attack into turn 1. Just behind, you've got Thomas Smith on the tail of Fred Alexar in the battle for 4th place. But can any of them catch up the race leader, Mika Leijo? And there's contact coming onto the straight, are coming together in that battle for 4th place, which results in Alexar spinning onto the grass, while Smith has been delayed, and he's going to drop behind Maxime Gravy. And it was Alexar running into Smith after the Dane had passed him for 4th. Somehow Smith avoids the spin, but for Alexar, that's effectively the end of his race, the Estonian rejoining in around 22nd place. And there is Smith with the blue and red race suit, white helmets. He got ahead of Alexar, but dropped behind Gravy in all of that. So he's still 5th, but it doesn't look like there's any damage to his kart. And the Dane is now trying to find a way back through, which he does, outbraking the Frenchman to retake 4th place. And now Smith points forward. That's karting sign language for follow me. Let's stop overtaking each other and try and catch up with the leaders. Right behind them both, that's still the 607 kart of Kevin Ludi in 6th. Ludi has now been in every single position within the top 7, and at the moment he seems to have regained some momentum and he's moving back up the order. That's a pass on Maxime Gravy to get the Swiss driver back up into the top 5. Back with the leaders, Mika Leijo continues to extend his advantage, and here's the battle for 2nd place. Matthijs de Tiege draws alongside Tom Dearlison, and the Belgian driver goes through. Meanwhile, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th all run together, and that's a great move from Harold Garkaklis to take 7th place away from Patrick Pearce. And the British driver is now coming under attack from Gilles Bronda in the 642 kart. So that demotes Pearce from 7th back down to 9th. The Dutchman Bronda pulling off an opportunistic move to gain the place, and ahead of them both, Harold Garkaklis is now back up to 7th in kart 624. Remember, he was the driver who was spun out of 5th place right at the beginning of the race. And there he goes again, Garkaklis with the green helmet, passes Gravy, and from the back of the grid, the Lithuanian is now back up into the top 6. Here they are, Garkaklis 6th, Gravy 7th, Bronda 8th, Pearce 9th. And that's Gravy spinning out, onto the grass he goes, and the Frenchman has lost a wheel. Looks like his left rear wheel has come completely off the axle, it bounces away. Gravy is already out of the kart, and there's the replay of him spinning out of a potential top 6 finish. Either that wheel wasn't fastened properly, or it's just sheared off after a day of pounding the curbs. No suspension on these karts, so some pretty brutal energy being transferred through the axle and wheels as number 623 Lucas Orrock overtakes Carl Clairbeau. Looked like a good move for the British driver to pass the Belgian. Clairbeau in the 648 kart, one of the drivers in the Masters class for the 32-plus-year-old drivers, and another competitor from that class is now right behind him, number 620, Florent Lambert, another of the British drivers contesting today's race here at Genk. Lambert with the red, white and blue colour scheme is homing in on Clairbeau, the Tatum Racing driver closing right up to the tail of Clairbeau. Through he goes to pick up the place, and Clairbeau's position might be about to worsen still further as through comes fellow Belgian Christophe Adams to move up the order in the Masters class. A little bit of contact as he comes past, but Adams completes the overtake. Onto the start-finish straight, and Clairbeau takes a hand off the wheel to adjust his carburettor, leaning off the fuel mixture to try and gain a fraction more power. Adams goes wide in the Sodi kart, hits the curb, and this could be a chance for Clairbeau to regain the place, but Adams manages to pull back away. Under braking though, Clairbeau closes the gap once more and he's able to carry the speed through the corner. And now this, a golden opportunity to get back ahead of his Belgian rival. Clairbeau gets past, but then he gets a tag on the way out of the corner. He spins. Christophe Adams runs onto the grass and he'll lose 2 places because of that. Here's the replay. The 648 card of Clairbeau makes perfectly clean pass. And then on the exit, Adams simply runs into the back of him and the unfortunate Clairbeau is pushed into a spin while Adams takes his own little trip across the grass. Meanwhile, this is the battle for 5th place, and that is the charging Harold Karkaklis picking up yet another place on this remarkable recovery drive from the back of the field. This time the DFK racing driver has found a way past Maxime Gravy, so now he's back to where he was before that lap 1 spin, 5th place. And here is our lead battle, number 649, Mika Leho still leading, but by a reduced margin from kart 602, Matthias de Tige. Tom Dearlison is 3rd, Thomas Smith 4th. Leho is almost home, but de Tige has been flying after him in these closing stages. It's been an incident-packed race with overtaking and some controversial moves all the way down the order. And here's another move as Germany's Felix Berg overtakes Britain's Tamsin Germain for 15th, but she remains leader of the Masters class. But here's Finland's Mika Leho. He holds on to take a narrow victory from Belgium's Matthias de Tige. Holland's Tom Dearlison completes the podium, and the best Masters driver is Tamsin Germain in 16th place. After the race, we caught up with Tamsin as she celebrated her first ever Masters class victory.
The last couple of years have been really competitive, especially in the Masters field, and where in the past I've been quick enough to be there and to win, I just hadn't had the luck, but it was quite good really today. It was a pleasant surprise, to be honest. There are a lot of quick Masters, very experienced guys that are out there, and obviously the whole field is pretty quick this year as well, so it is extremely competitive, but I'm there to race against everyone. Obviously it's good to get a Masters podium, but I'm primarily there to race against all the others as well, so I'm hoping for an even better result further up for Wackersdorf.
Congratulations to Mika Leho as the young Finnish driver heads toward the top step of the podium to collect his winner's trophy. Left of picture is Matthias de Tige, who finished 2nd, and to your right is Tom Dearlison, who came home 3rd. The drivers and teams will next head to Wackersdorf in Germany for round 2 of the championship, and we'll be there to bring you all the highlights.